Good day, everybody. Welcome to Drive Along. I'm Courtney again. I'm gonna talk today about passengers, people that you pick up if you're doing Lyft and Uber. I'm probably gonna talk about something else, but it was a lady I picked up yesterday. She was kind, older woman. And she had a basket. It was small. It wasn't a big deal. She was older. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if she was my age or younger, I more than likely wasn't going to help. So I instantly got out and I helped her. And she was like, "Oh, you're so kind. Wow." And then when she got in, she started kind of complaining about another driver that came to pick her up. And he told her that he can't help her with the same thing I helped her with. And his reasoning that she gave for him saying he can't help, he was just putting that off on Uber or Lyft. I forget what she was on. I think Lyft. She said that the gentleman said that, "Oh, we can't do that. We can't lift your products. We can't lift anything. They don't want us doing that." Well, that's not true, because they do strongly ask, help. They mostly talk about older people, if you can help type thing. Now, I was listening to the lady, have nothing to say about it, I'm just like, She was like, "Because that was wrong. He know he could have helped me. He was already obese, and stuff like that." She was just, people get in their emotions and stuff. But the whole time I'm thinking, she was like, "What are the older people gonna do? We need y'all help." And I'm kind of thinking, understandable. But what people do need to understand, if you're gonna take Lyft and Uber, this is not a call a ride situation. Call a ride is the business I had worked for. And, if you're doing that, you get off, you help the passenger, and they had like a ramp that came down. They called it the wheelchair ramp. Well, if you have a lot of stuff, you could put it on there, come up that ramp, get on the van. Now, it was a time, I had talked about that. I helped a lady. I don't do huge walkers or wheelchairs. I know one time I did two wheelchairs. I didn't help at all. They had someone with them, because I went to pick up a lady and I saw she had no help with her. I had to let her know, "Ma'am, I can't help you." And she literally looked like she could barely walk. I felt bad for her, but I didn't feel so bad. I'm gonna tell you why. She was in front of her home. You can get another ride. Call, if it was an insurance company put in a ride for you, a doctor's office, or even if she did it. And that's the thing, people need to understand that Lyft and Uber is not the same thing as a call a ride situation, an EMT situation. It's just not. It's just not. You're dealing with people. Like, there was a lady I used to work with years ago. She did Uber in the evenings. And she was she was a big woman. And she had a lot of weight on her. And she could barely walk into the business we worked at. And I asked, like, "So what do? You don't get out the car or anything?" She said, "Oh, I don't have to. Everybody I pick up, they getting off from work, blah, 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 Because that was way before I knew anything about Uber. She exclusively did Uber or Lyft. Back then, I hadn't even taken a Uber, one of the rides. I was still, if I needed to get anywhere, still using a cab. But yeah, people need to understand that. Because I wanted to tell the lady, you might need to get in contact with Call a Ride. But when I worked there, they were low on drivers, which I'm hearing they still are. And I can understand why. Because, like I said, it was too much that they were not willing to do for the drivers, And then I do understand, and anybody that's getting into Lyft or Uber, you do need to understand that, yeah, if it's an older person, just help the older person. you know, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're like me, like, I'm not going to pick anything heavy up. Now, that's a different story. Because I told the story about the young lady that thought I was getting ready to just help. I'm not a baggie. I'm not getting ready to be picking up your stuff. You better help. You know, that was wild. I'm like, girl, the one that thought she was a TikTok or some type of social media influencer, I don't care who you think he is. Get this bag in this car. Look, no. So, you know, I'm listening to her. She was done with it, her complaining. And me being who I am, I was on the Lyft app. I did put her on the do not pick up list because I'm sorry, that's something else people need to know. Don't get in someone else's car complaining about another driver. I don't care. I apologize. I don't. Because I can't call nobody for you. I'm not, you know. I remember one time I told a guy he wasn't really complaining. He was asking questions about something that I had I didn't have a clue about. And I told him, you might need to Google Uber's customer service. I said, because there's a number we can call if something's going on. I said, but I don't know about the passenger. Yeah, I said, it's on the driver's side of the app. And he was like, oh man, yeah, it was something about his pay or something. And I know within the app, it'll say, oh, I don't even understand that. I was sure the passenger was charged too much. They need to take that off. That's on the Uber side of the driver's thing. I don't really think nobody's getting ready to go into, oh, let me give you some of your money back. You need to reach out to Uber or something for that. No, we're out here not trying. Well, I know I'm not trying to scam you. I'm just trying to do this ride and get you out my vehicle. End of the day, go home. But it's just, yeah, people need to understand when you're just getting a ride. That's all. And it's a beautiful, wonderful thing and a blessing if you do get some help. You know, to me, it's just not the same thing as at all as a assistant service driving situation. You need to call a cab. I never looked at cabs like that, really, because like I had said once before, it was times when, you know, we didn't have a vehicle when I was younger, and my mom and I would go grocery shopping, and she would call a cab. We was putting the food in the trunk, and it would be really awesome and cool when somebody would get out and help us. You know, my mom never seemed to think much of it like, oh, they should get out and help us, you know. So when they did, it was like, oh, that's really cool. And let me say another thing. They want all of this help, and you don't know how to tip. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of people are not gonna help you too, because a lot of drivers already know you're more than likely not gonna tip. I know that may sound messed up or whatever, but it's just the truth. Like I had said once before, when I used to take cabs, if I couldn't give nothing but $2, I was doing it. I'm not saying you have to, but of course it's greatly appreciated. And since you want all of this help, that's something you need to think about. Am I willing to tip this person if I'm asking for all this help? Just saying. But anyway, I just want to stop in and make another video and say, catch me on the next one.